Now, any updates, RJ? Maybe I should just check the YouTube feed. Perfect. Thank you, RJ, for that feedback. Much appreciated. Just let me know how to broadcast live so then I can do the greetings for the audience and also read out the team sheets. Thank you very much. Got your message. Hello, everybody. Good morning to wherever you are, and I appreciate that some of our viewers might be signing in places where it's no longer morning. It might be in the afternoon, it might be late in the evening, but a warm welcome to everybody. Greetings, everyone. Thank you for logging in, tuning in, and watching this live feed of the second international T20 between Japan and Singapore. I must clarify that this is also their ladies' team, as the Japan men's team is busy with another assignment in their East Asia Pacific qualifier campaign that is taking place in South Korea concurrently. Welcome to our viewers from the Indian subcontinent on the fan code and the rest of the world watching via YouTube. My name is Sagir Parker, and I am going to do the commentary for today's game on the on the English language feed, and my colleagues will be doing the Japanese feed, and that is Sato-san and Tomizawa-san. The news so far from the ground is that Singapore has won the toss, and they are going to bat first. The team that they have picked today is Soumya Pumi, Divya, also known as Divya GK, Roshni Ramesh, Vinu Kumar, Devika Galia, Shafina Mahesh, Johanna Srivati Purankaran, Ishita Shukla, Ella Ungaman, Charlotte Boyle, Lasya Reddy, or Lasya Boma Reddy. And I'm not sure if that is a little change from the games yesterday. Let us see what the games yesterday looked like. Yeah, it looks like a predominantly unchanged side from yesterday. Yesterday, it was the Japan ladies team that won the toss and elected to bowl first. The outcome being the same, that Singapore will be batting first. And Japan had a very good outing yesterday. They beat Singapore by 9 wickets. Singapore having scored 53 in their allocated 20 overs. And the Japan ladies achieved their target in the ninth over itself. The pick of the bowlers yesterday was Ahilya Chandel, getting 3 wickets for 8 runs off her 4 overs, and was ably supported by Kurumi Ota and the other bowlers. Now, Kurumi Ota, in the process, becoming Japan women's highest wicket taker. I'm informed that yesterday she achieved the milestone by taking her 46th career wicket. And my understanding is that this is probably in the T20 format. And today we are achieving a similar remarkable milestone for one of the women's team's quite decorated player, Mai Yanagida. This is her 75th appearance, and this makes her the most capped player for Japan in the men's game as well as the women's game. So, a very hearty congratulations to Yanagida san. We are now waiting for the players and the officials to step on the ground. We've got about 5 minutes for the game to begin. I'll be very happy to tap into the participants on the chat on YouTube and sort of answer any questions that all the viewers might have. Until then, I'll hang around in the background until the action starts. Welcome back, everyone, again. We have the team sheets on the screen over here. Singapore has won the toss and they will be batting first. They have an unchanged side from yesterday, and they will be led by their captain, who is Soumya Gurusinghe. The batters are slowly making their way onto the pitch at the moment. The umpires are in position, the fielders are in position, and we shall be underway quite soon. We have the strikers in batter marking her guard. The umpires for today are Adam Burrs and Rob Newman. Umpire Burrs takes the first over. Rob Newman probably at square leg. Ahilya Chandel at the top of her mark, ready to bowl. She looks quite excited after her performances yesterday. As I mentioned earlier, she took 3 wickets in a wonderful spell that included 2 wickets in an over towards the closing stages of the game. Now, we saw Ota-san yesterday get her 46th wicket and become the highest wicket taker for the Japan women's team. And I have no doubt that over a period of time, we'll see that mark overhauled by this young lady on our screen, Ahilya Chandel. She's a fantastic bowler. In she goes. This is the first ball. Steams right in and on target. That ball swinging in just a little bit, beating the inside edge of the batter over there as it goes through to the keeper with a good even bounce. So, as I was saying earlier, I wouldn't be surprised if Ahilya Chandel eventually overtakes Ota-san to become Japan's leading wicket taker in the women's side. In she comes again. That's a wonderful ball, this time beating the outside edge. The batter trying to attempt a slash, sort of a cut shot onto the offside, but not getting to the pitch of the ball at all, and I think beaten over there by the late movement. This one seems more on the money, swung in a little bit, seemed to hit the batter on the back foot. A big appeal from Ahilya, but not ably supported by most of her teammates. Not sure if there was an inside edge or possibly missing head. Umpire Burrs shakes his head as Ahilya gets back to her crease, probably indicating why he decided that was not out. In she comes again. That one pitches just outside of off stump. The batter finally gets bat to ball, and it goes towards the point region where it was ably fielded and returned back to the keeper. This one's more plumb in front and given. There we go. Ahilya has been so persistently consistent and aggressive in getting that wicket over there. This has paid rich dividends for her, and that ball landed bang on the money, held its shape, just jagged a little back in. The batter had no answer to that and was pinned straight in front of middle stump. Umpire Buzz having no doubt that I would have gone on to ping the stumps, and that finger went up quickly by pretty much by any umpire standards. I would say you have to be really spot on plumb to get that decision that quick. It's a great breakthrough. Ahilya Chandel showing why she is such a capable bowler at this stage. And having watched her bowl last year, there have been quite a significant improvement in her accuracy this year. I mean, even though these players don't get to play the game as regularly as they would like to, I mean, for her, having to fly in, no preparation matches beforehand, this level of accuracy is remarkable. And the batter has tucked that one on to the leg side, just off her hips. The new batter is Kumar, and just getting up her full name. So that is Vinu Kumar, who is the new batter in. And that's the end of the first over. Singapore is one for the loss of one wicket. Brilliant, fantastic first over from Ahilya Chandel. And I assume that from the other end we might get Elena Kusuda Nain. She had to miss out yesterday's game, but it looks like she is back in the playing 11 today. And along with Ahilya Chandel, they form a very good opening combination for the Japanese side. They bowl very well in tandem. One's a right armer, the other's a left armer, and I think they gel along very well. They each know their roles. In she comes, Elena, and that's sort of a loopy delivery just outside leg stump, called a wide by the umpire, and I think the lack of preparation can sometimes do that for players returning to the fold after a long hiatus. That one's bowled outside off stump. A good ball nonetheless, well played by the batter, but it went straight to the fielder at point, and the return comes in nice and sharp to the keeper, and it gets lobbed back to the fielders. Elena making her way back to the top of the mark. She's ready, waiting for the batter Vinu Kumar to get ready. In she comes, and that one's a lot more accurate, straight on the money over there, in line with the stumps, and the batter just pushed it back to the bowler, who collects it and walks back. That was a much better delivery from Elena over there, and I think she's just finding her rhythm back now. That one was bowled a little bit slower, a little bit wider. The batter tried to reach, but then thought the better of it, maybe hoping that it might be called a wide. But that wasn't a wide delivery. It was well within the line and definitely well within the reach of the batter. Lets it go past and calmly. In she comes again on the stumps. This time, a very straight delivery, just pushed into the covers, fielded inside the circle. No risk sort of batting over here. It feels as if the Singapore ladies just want to bat out as long as they can, just as they did yesterday. And they're trying to ensure that they don't lose any more quick wickets over here. That one's well played, straight into the V, but cut off by mid-off over there. Good running by the batters in the end. Had to scramble for a quick single. That brings GK Divya to the crease, and this is the first ball she'll be facing in the 2 overs that have been bowled so far. In comes Selena, well played by Divya, and that ball goes just past a diving fielder in extra cover. Well fielded over there, well backed up by the Japanese team. Back to the bowler, and this is the end of the second over. Singapore are now 3 runs for the loss of 1 wicket. And I'm not sure how many of you all tuned in yesterday to watch the game, but the level of fielding on display by the Japanese players was definitely a couple of notches better than what was evident last year. So I'm quite confident that these players have been training hard. Dino, their coach, definitely has been putting them through their paces, and I think a lot of credit goes to the JCA and the coach for the development of these players. Ooh, that's a wonderful ball by Ahilia, almost slanted across the batter, who had no clue which way the ball was going, looped up in the air but fell short of the fielder. Now, in addition to the coach and the JCA setup, I think a great amount of thanks needs to go to MKI, which is Mitsui Knowledge Industries, and Mizuno, who are the partners and the team supplier, respectively. In comes Sahilia. That hits the batter straight on the leg, at the bottom part of the leg, on a foot, hoping to get a leg by. Let's see what the umpire signal is. Umpire gives it runs. So it looks like that might have been off the toe end of the bat. Um, and the batters scamper for a comfortable single. Scored now 5 for 1. Ahilia Chandel in her second over. She has got 1 wicket for 2 runs thus far. Another delivery, almost angled across the batter, pitched outside the leg stump, comfortable swivel by the batter up to backward square leg, and they take a comfortable run. The Singapore players seem content to sort of bide their time, ensure that they don't lose too many wickets in a collapse as they did yesterday, and I think one of their targets would be to bat full 20 overs. In comes Ahilia again, the ball right on target, in line with the stumps, but it looks like it was a little bit higher when it hit the batter and therefore would have passed over the stumps. So while we did have an appeal, it was turned down by the umpire. So the batter survives. Oh, should be a dead ball. The batter pulled up right at the last moment. No fast bowler likes the sight of that, especially at they are at the crease and just about to deliver. So Ahilia will have to run that one again. And let's see what she delivers this time. Ooh, that's a good ball. Straight into the hands of the waiting short mid-wicket over there. Fantastic delivery. The batter had to play at it. Unfortunately, there was no conviction in that shot, and it lobbed straight into the hands of short mid-wicket over there, or a close-in mid-wicket. Wonderful bowling by Hillier. You can see that ball sort of swinging in just that little bit, held its line, and it was in no way the batter was in no way in a position to sort of keep that down. Good bowling over there by Hillier Chandel. She picks up her second one. Scored now 6 for 2. Singapore are in dire straits at the opening stage of this game. We are still within the power play overs. GK Divya is one of their senior players and somebody with a fair bit of experience and a significant contributor so far to the women's team, especially with the bat. I mean, she might be sort of in her twilight years now as a player, but nonetheless, her contributions have been very vital to the team. And it's a big loss for the team for her to depart this early in the game. The new player is Devika Galia, Ooh, good ball again by Ahilia, swinging in, and it takes the. Oh my God, that is bold actually. It does hit her on the pad, and it goes on to the stumps. What a wonderful piece of bowling over here by Ahilia Chandel. She has strung these deliveries very well, and has reaped rewards for it. There we go. It hits the back leg, and this sort of ricochets onto the off stump. The bail falls. So while everybody else was appealing for a leg before, a couple of other players realized that that bail had been dislodged, and Devika Galia gets a golden duck, unfortunately. Out first ball, bowled by Hilya Chandel, who completes this over with figures of 3 for 3. Phenomenal bowling over here today. Singapore in absolutely dire straits. While we're waiting for the new batter to come to the crease, I'd like to point out that there's only a two-place difference between Singapore and Japan in the ICC Women's T20 rankings. I don't know how many people actually pay attention to the rankings and the ladder, but it does play a role when it comes to teams appearing for certain tournaments and qualification pathways for ICC events. Singapore is ranked slightly higher than Japan, but I think on the basis of yesterday's game and today, it looks like Japan's definitely the better performing team. And Elena starts her second over absolutely on target with that first ball, Yorker length delivery on middle stump, which the batter just blocks out. And the new batter who we have at the crease is Miss Ramesh, who's now at the non-strikers end. Taz runs off the bat now as Kumar hits it to mid wicket off a foolish length delivery, well fielded by the Japanese players over there, and an absolute cracker of a throwback, bang in line with the stumps. For people who watched yesterday's game, would have noticed there were a couple of direct hits and a couple of really brilliant runouts executed by the Japanese team too. So this Japanese team is on its way up, and they are improving remarkably quickly. In comes Elena, hits the batter on the thighs, fairly high up, a slight appeal from the keeper for a leg before decision, but the umpire sort of declines that appeal, indicates later on that it was obviously a little bit high. Next ball has been hit straight to mid on, where a diving fielder stops, tries to take the ball. It looks like that's Yanagida-san who made the dive, and eventually collects the ball and throws it back. The batters scamper for a single, a very opportunistic run over there. Could have been in a tricky situation had Mai Yanagida got that ball on the go. Good slower ball outside of off stump. Batter fails to make a connection over there. Wonderful change of pace by Elena Kusuda Nain, who is growing very steadily into her role as an opening seam bowler. And as I mentioned earlier, she is forming a formidable partnership with Ahilya Chandel over there. That ball a little bit closer to the stump, just that slight movement off the pitch, and that one goes through to the keeper. End of the over. So that's 4 overs gone, 2 more overs left in this power play, and Singapore are really struggling a little bit over here. And we are back with Ahelia Chandel bowling her third over on the trot, which is a very interesting decision, and I think a very good decision made over here by the skipper, because she has been bowling well. She is on the go at the moment. She's been really penetrative. She's picked up 3 wickets. Oh, bang on target again. Once again, really troubling the batter over there, not just with her pace, but with the angle of the delivery and the movement of the pitch as well. And I think it's a good cricketing decision over here to keep her going, because Japan would like to get as many Singaporean wickets as they can, so that they can probably have an easier target to chase. There we go. That one's pushed a little bit wider, trying to entice the batter just to have a go at it, maybe have a little slash, maybe get a faint nick behind. No slip fielders in place, so that can often entice the batters just to go for those wide deliveries outside of off stump. Unfortunately, the batter just held her counsel and let that ball through. Comes in Ahelia again, this one angled into the stumps. Pretty much on target with the off stick over there, well kept out by Kumar. There we go. We've got that wider delivery again, and there's a slash, and that one goes towards sort of third man region for a single. Singapore slowly inching their way. We are in the fifth over. Singapore are now 11 for 3, and the middle order is where a bulk of their runs have been contributed by. I wonder whether Singapore's game plan over here is to try and last the full 20 overs and maximize whatever score they can achieve. And the batter hits that one. This one could actually go to the fence. The fielder's chasing it. A wonderful bit of diving closer to the boundary. Drags back in, picks it up on the go, and 2-3 bounces back to the keeper. Good bit of fielding over there. Definitely saved a couple of runs for her team and restricted the batters to just 2 runs. Yes, so I was saying that perhaps it might be better for Singapore to actually look at crossing the 50-run mark first and making sure they last the full 20 overs and see how many more runs they can make out of that. This one's an absolute peach of a delivery. Probably one that bowlers like Mitchell Starc might actually be proud of. It was in line, beat that batter lock, stock, and barrel. Unfortunately, it didn't get the edge. So, end of the over, 13 for 3 is Singapore's score at the moment. It'll be interesting to see if Elena returns for her third over, or whether we see a change in bowling at the other end. There we go. Elena comes in again for her third over on the trot as well. There's been a little bit of it's a very unusual shot by the batter over there. Hits just behind square leg. It was kind of a upright sweep shot, if I may say so. And that brings Kumar back to the strike. I think Roshni Ramesh doing her job in not taking too many risks, making sure she stays over there. That's a much better looking shot by the batter. Good ball as well. Eventually they managed to score a single. I think both sides would want an even contest over here. I mean, while Japan may not want the Singaporean team to score anything more than 90, 100 runs or so, they would also relish the prospect of a close game just to test their own ability to finish close games. Now, this one's hit in the gap. This has gone through extra covers. 2 fielders chasing behind it. And that's picked up by who looks like Maya Nagida once again. I might be wrong. It's very difficult to tell the jersey numbers from here and identify the players. And the batters have scampered for 2 runs. All right, in comes Selena again. Oh, there was just an attempt to bowl an off cutter, which went a little bit awry as she lost control of that ball, and that's been given a wide. One extra run to the Singaporean total, and I think Singapore will not begrudge any extras that they can get. Another attempted cutter, and this one's much more closer to the stumps. Didn't give the batter any free room to swing that bat at all. Eventually, they managed to score a single as that ball goes through the vacant extra cover region. There's a fielder in the deep over there now trying to protect that boundary after that earlier shot went for 2. In comes Selena again, another attempted cutter. This one's cut back to this backward square or backward point region. Batters take a single as the fielder is quite sharp and onto the ball quickly. You can see that these players are fielding as a team unit, and I think each of them really understands the role that they need to perform. The backing up is definitely improved, the ground fielding is definitely improved. There we go. That one's a little bit in the air, just falls short of mid-off over there. It doesn't carry through. And that is the end of the over. A slightly more productive over for Singapore as they scored 7 runs in this over. So that takes their total to 21 for 3. All right, that's the end of the power play. So Singapore have scored 21 for 3. Current run rate stands at 3.5, and we have got Vinu Kumar over there at the crease at the moment, having scored 12 of 19 deliveries, and Roshni Ramesh giving her some able and much needed support with 4 of 6. Singapore earlier lost 3 quick wickets in the first 3 overs. 2 of them came in a single over. Now we have a change in bowling over here. We have Kato-san on for her first over of the day. There we go. Following that dot ball, she comes bustling in again, gets closer to the stumps as she delivers that ball, which the batter tucks just past behind square leg, and they take a comfortable single. Kato-san's bowling style is quite orthodox in that way, a very gentle, easy sort of rhythm to her bowling. And she's got much better control now than what she used to earlier. So there's again another Japan player who's improved her game significantly. That one's hit in the air and it goes over mid off. The fielder scampering after it, and that is the first boundary of the Singaporean innings. As we can see from the replay over here, the batter hits that aggressively in the air. That was a shot with intent to try and get it over the infield and doesn't miss the mark. That was Roshni Ramesh who hit that boundary. Hopefully this injects some much needed momentum into Singaporean innings here. Another good delivery, almost full length, a good length area. Not a lot of swing over there, but it was very difficult for that batter to time that shot. Nonetheless, another dot ball. That's played much better. That is cut square of the wicket. Oh, a chance at a run out if it had hit. The batter was well short of a crease over there. Good fielding again from the Japanese team. We go last ball of Kato-san's over here. So far 6 runs of this over. Another productive over for Singapore. Good delivery. That's hit in the air and straight to the fielder at cover, extra cover, possibly depending on the angle over here. Wonderful piece of bowling. That is a slowish delivery, tempting that batter. I mean, if we notice that third delivery of the over was hit over mid-off, this one was similarly floated up, tempting that batter to drive it and hit it in the air, and that one goes straight to the fielder. Good execution of a plan, good catch, good bowling. Singapore in big trouble now at 27 for 4. Kato-san picks up her first wicket in her opening over. Japan well and top in this game at the moment. Right, we have a change in bowling at this end as well. And it'll be none other than Kiyo Fujikawa, who is going to bowl some spin from this end. A very capable bowler. In she comes. Oh, very flighted delivery straight at the stumps, and the batter had to make sure that they timed that shot properly. Otherwise, that could have either clattered into the stumps or hit the batter plumb in front of it. Either way, it was a good flighted delivery straight at the stumps. And the batters, as they take a single, that breaks Miss Mahesh onto strike as well. So that's Shafina Mahesh for those keeping tabs on who the batter is. That one's played a little bit along the ground, and that one goes up to mid-on. No runs over here. Fujikawa-san bowling a really tight spell at the moment. Doesn't give a lot of room for the batters to swing the bat, doesn't give a lot of free runs on offer. Now, while that one was hit in the air towards deep mid-wicket, it was straight to the fielder, who didn't have to move much along the boundary line, picked it up on the bounce, and had a quick fire throw back at the stumps. That one's cut square. And let's see if the batters can make it to 2 runs. No, they decide against it and stick to a very safety first approach. preferring to keep it to a tidy single, relatively risk-free. I suppose they can't afford to lose too many wickets here, especially off an ill-judged run-out. Another loopy flighted delivery that's hit in the air. The fielder's chasing it, falls it between two fielders, one converging from mid-off and the other one from mid-on, and they restrict the batters to just another single. So far we've had 4 singles in this over with a dot ball. Fujikawa-san returns for her last delivery of this over. And that's another flighted delivery which has been swept along the ground towards mid-on, and the batters deny taking a run. So they stay where they are. That is the end of the over. Singapore, after 8 overs, are 31 for 4. Just to remind our viewers once again that there is no under 17 category for the women's team in Japan. They do have an emerging under 19 scene, and at the moment the main competition for the women's side, they do have the J Bash and the Japan Women's Cricket League and the Women's Japan Premier League, which also includes international players who visit from overseas. They are improving the pathway, and they're trying to get more younger players into the fold. They are trying their best to spread the game nationally and as well as attract international players there. Kato-san comes in for her second over and has a dot ball in the process. And as I mentioned earlier, she's got a very smooth sort of bowling run up and a very smooth action. Doesn't really err that much, doesn't bowl that many bad balls, and she's usually very consistent. Another example of an improving Japanese side over here. That is another brilliant ball aimed at the stump, slight swing away. The batter drives it along the ground, goes towards cover, which is capably fielded over there, and the ball's returned back to the keeper. In she comes again, this time trying a little bit of an outswing, angled onto the pads, trying to get it to swing back. And that one's tucked along the carpet, square of the wicket, and which is easily fielded by the player over there, restricting the batters to just another single. Singapore seemingly quite content to take these singles at the moment. Kato-san back on track. This one's hit aerially over the fielders on the leg side, and that shall go towards the boundary. That brings up 4 more runs for Singapore. That is a good bit of batting over there by Roshni Ramesh. It's a wonderful strike, taking advantage of the field placings over there. There were 3 fielders on the leg side within the circle, a big vacant area outside of that, and that was capably taken advantage of by Roshni Ramesh, who hits a boundary. Brings up her individual score to 15 of 13 deliveries. Kato-san comes back in. Bet this will be angled fuller. There we go. That's a much fuller delivery, compensating for the slightly shorter one earlier, generating a little bit of an outswing in the process. The batter missing the ball over there, which goes through to the keeper. In comes Kato-san again for the last time this over. That ball's hit up aerially again. Over short extra cover, capably fielded over there by the fielder running in from long off, and the batters only take 1 run in the process. It's a bit difficult for me to say whether it was 1 or 2. It looks like it was 1 run, and Roshni Ramesh will retain strike. So I think that was a deliberate decision to just stick to the 1 run of that ball. I'm not sure about the capability of Singapore's lower order over here, but this might yet be the last recognized pair of batters for the Singaporean side, unless the tailenders contribute a few runs of their own. We are not even at the halfway mark in the innings, and Singapore are 37 for 4. In comes Fujikawa-san again with her flighted, loopy spin deliveries. This one's been sort of dragged along the ground towards deep mid wicket. And the field and the batters take 1 run again, and that brings Mahesh onto the strike. Shafina Mahesh has only played 6 deliveries so far, scored 3 runs off it. Bulk of the runs thus far have come off Ramesh's bat in this partnership. Oh, that one's hit aerially again, and just outside the reach of the fielder over there. Looks like that was Hinase Goto, if I'm not mistaken, in that region. Would have been an absolutely brilliant catch had it been caught running backwards and attempting to take it on the go behind you. But these catches are very difficult. The batters take a single in the moment. That's 2 singles thus far. Fujikawa-san, generates another chance. And the batters go through for another single, just the ball falling just short of that diving fielder over there. Nonetheless, a good sort of attempt to try and continue attacking and getting the batters to hit in the air. We see that once again, but this time a little bit more of a straighter strike, and that ball goes past mid-off, long off for another boundary. Runs that are much needed by the Singaporean team over here. We can see the replay over here now. Flighted, loopy delivery hit straight back over the bowler's head, and that beats that chasing fielder to go for a 4. In the grand scheme of things, Singapore's total today already seems better than what they managed yesterday. We can see that ball played with a much better straight face off the bat, just tapped it to the fielder over there within the circle. There's no need to take a risk on that stroke. They've already managed to get 7 runs off this over. And once more, that's hit straight in the air. This time again, dead straight, and that goes over the boundary for another 4. That's 11 runs in this over. Fujikawa-san taking a little bit of a hammering over here, not because she's bowled poorly, but because the Singaporean batters have shown a little bit more intent in this over, that they think that they can fancy their chances and take risks against her, and they have done that. Let's be honest, there were 2 potential chances for catches over here, so those shots could have gone either way. At the halfway mark of this inning, Singapore are 48 for 4. Roshni Ramesh batting at 18 of 17 and Shafina Mahesh 12 of 10. Pick of the bowlers once again so far has been Ahilya Chandel with 3 wickets up top. While the players and the umpires take a drink break, I believe I would like to mention over here and give a massive thumbs up to MKI, Mizuno, who are the sponsors and the team, the partners for the Japan men's team as well as the women's team. So Mitsui Knowledge Industries is the lead partner and Mizuno is the national team supplier. And I think their sponsorship for the Japanese teams as well as their collaboration has done wonders for them, because this year we have seen both the men's team and the women's team perform at a much higher level. We have seen more consistent results being delivered by them as well. We can see Coach Dino there in the background having a chat with his players. cheering them up, probably giving them good positive feedback on their performances thus far, making sure they stick to the plan, making sure they believe in themselves. And self belief at this level of the game is such an important thing. You can have all the skills in the world, but if you don't have that self belief, it does affect performance quite significantly in an adverse way. So you need people in your team setup, in your coaching setup, who can get the best out of you. And I believe Coach Dino is able to get that from his players. I noticed that we have quite a significant viewership today. Yesterday, I think it peaked at around 520 plus viewers. Today, so far, we've got 310 people watching this feed, and I think the numbers can only increase as we get closer towards the end of this innings. And there is quite an active chatter between all the people watching this game. Some of them fans of the Japan team, some of them followers of the Singaporean team. It's good to see people watching these streams, people engaging in the sport, people having a chat about the players, about strategies, and the potential outcomes of the game. This is what we need consistently in order to spread the game globally, and especially outside its traditional bases. Here we go. Now we have Kurumi Ota, the bowler with the most wickets for any female player in Japanese cricket. Oh, there she goes. Bowls at first on target. Hit back just past her spread leg, which with which she tried to stop that delivery. Good athletic performance over there of her own bowling. Unfortunately, that ball was just outside of her reach and goes straight to mid off. The batters complete a single in the process. And comes Otasan again. A little bit of a bustling run up and good seam up position over there. Good wrist position as she delivers that ball. And the batter has no other option but just to pat it back to the bowler. So as I was saying, Otasan has become the highest wicket taker for any female player in Japan cricket setup. That's a big achievement for her. That one's bowled just a little bit outside, and I think the swing takes it even further wider. That's been called a wide by umpire Birds. Singapore get another free run in the process, and they have now reached 50 for 4. So 50 up for the Singapore team, which is already an improved performance on their batting yesterday. For viewers who watched the game yesterday, know that Singapore were all out for 53, and that was at the end of their 20th over as well. This one's hit straight into the air. Where has that ball gone? It's sort of not gone too high up. Looks like the camera struggled to pick that ball up. We've got a single in the process. I don't think there was much risk associated with that shot. Not likely to have been a catch from the angle that I have got access to. So it's a little bit more of an orthodox shot, sort of a square drive back to the fielder at point, no run. It's good to see the fielders keep their energy levels up as well. No flagging shoulders over here. The Japanese ladies seem to be quite confident in their ability. That one's a full toss. Obviously not a no ball because it was almost at knee high. Hit towards mid off. Single taken in the process. Oh, that one beats the batter outside the offside. Not sure if there was an edge over there, but it definitely didn't carry cleanly to Nishimura-san. Now that's the end of the over. 52 for 4 at the end of 11 overs. And I wonder whether we'll see a change in bowling. Mai Yanagida, who has become the most capped player for the Japan women's team, is also leading the side. It is her 75th appearance today, and that is a record for any Japanese player, both in the men's and the women's game. And I think as the sport gets popular in Japan, we will definitely see that record being taken over not too far in the future now. Ooh, that one's missed by the batter completely. And as we were talking about my Yanagida, that is Yanagida-san who has brought herself on to bowl in this 12th over. An attempted leg spin over there goes a little bit wider than intended. A wide call by umpire Newman. Looks like Yanagida-san wants to try out as many bowling options as she can at the moment. Probably gives her a little bit of flexibility to pick and choose who bowls towards the end of the innings, especially the death overs, as Ahilya has only got one over left. Barring that wide, this is a very miserly over by Yanagida-san. She's only given that one run off the wide ball, and there have been 3 dot balls in the process over here. That's a good line that's gone up in the air. Unfortunately, no fielder over there, and the batters take a single. That was a lovely delivery. Enticed that batter to just play at it, and it lobs up in the air in the process. No fielder over there, though. Singapore, still trying to cut out risk, not going for big shots. This one's played much better, straight down along the ground. Back to my Yanagida, who fields it off her own bowling. One more delivery to come in this over now. It's an attempted leg spinner. Batter can't get hold of it as well as she would have liked to. And it looks like they did not take a single. Not sure what happened over there, because as the fielder collected the ball, we did not get to see whether the batters took a run or not. Anyway, score is now 54 for 4 of 12 overs. These two Singaporean players have staged a fine partnership over here. Roshni Ramesh is on 21 of 24 and Shafina Mahesh on 13 of 15. Oh, that's a lovely delivery. Straight on the stumps. Beautiful ball. Rattles that middle stump there. And unfortunately, Roshni Ramesh's innings has come to an end. This is an example of a commentator's curse over here. Just as I was saying how well they have played to stitch this fine partnership, she departs. Now to the shortened process, that's a swipe attempted off a straight ball that was coming onto the stumps. And obviously, as the batter mishits, that ball just goes on to hit the stumps over there. Singapore lose their 5th, unfortunately, just as these two looked to be settling in quite nicely and perhaps looking at taking the score to about 80 to 90 runs. And she is dismissed by Kurumi Ota, who adds to her list of international wickets. And she is growing that tally with every game that she plays. A wonderful bowler for Japan, a good servant of the game over there. We have the new batter on strike taking guard. Umpire buzz indicating that she's now on middle stump. Uh, Non-strikers making her way back slowly. We will find out quite quickly who the batter is. And the new batter is Lasya Bomareddy. Right, she is going to face Kurumi Ota, who is on fire over here. She's been bowling well. She's been bowling straight. She bustles in, and that one straight at the stumps again. Another appeal for LBW, this time turned down by umpire Burrs. May have been going down leg side just slightly. That was another wonderful ball and a brilliant ball to bowl first up to a player coming into bat at number 7. Wonderful straight delivery. A dot ball to follow that. The ball just grazed the batter's thigh pad as it trickled through to the keeper. Ooh, bit of a confusion there between the batters, and eventually they take a safe single. That was hit in a slightly awkward manner by the batter, who sort of walked across the stumps, made the contact, and that ball then went in the gap between the two fielders on the offside. It looks like there was always a run on, but the batters were very unsure initially as to how close the fielders were to the ball, and that led to the hesitation. Eventually, they managed to get a safe single. Singapore score now climbing to 55 for 5. Another waft outside of off stump, this time more like a cut shot, but the batter failed to make contact with that, and that goes up to the keeper. Ota-san really bowling well over here, sticking to the basics, just enough variations without giving away too many free deliveries. Then she bustles again, bowls that one another straight delivery, angled into the stumps. He played well by the batter, hit straight back into the ground, one bounce, and Kurumi Ota fields it off her own bowling. That is the end of her second over. 13 overs gone now. Singapore at 55 for 5. And there we have on our screens projected score at current run rate. Singapore is likely to reach 84. If they score at 6 per over here onwards, they will get to 97, which I think is something that they will be happy with. Whether they manage to score at that high a run rate, especially with the lower batting order, remains to be seen. Not oftentimes we see the lower order contribute that much, especially at a higher run rate compared to the top order. But stranger things have happened in sport, and we never know. We might get a scenario like that, and that would lead us to a really good game. Yanagida-san returns for her second over. In she comes. Batters played it with a straight bat. That goes to the extra cover fielder, quite close in within the circle. No single at all over there. Batters didn't run. Ooh, that's an outside edge. The batter shuffles outside of off stump again, just like she did in the last over. This time she gets an edge. and obviously that one couldn't go to hand because such a thickish edge. The keeper had no way to get to that ball. They take a single, and that brings Shafina Mahesh onto the strike. Oh, good ball by Yanagida-san. Rattles that off stump over there. Absolutely beautiful flight. Just a little bit of drift onto the off stump over there. Beaten in flight, the batter was, and couldn't just make contact at all. It almost ended up being a Yorker length sort of delivery. And there goes the bails off the stumps. Singapore now 56 for 6. Yanagida-san gets her name on the scorecard with a wicket. And Shafina Mahesh innings comes to an end. She has scored 13 of 18 deliveries, followed by an absolute beauty of a delivery by my Yanagida. I guess Singapore can now sort of stick to playing out the last remaining 6.5 overs, hopefully hoping that they might not get all out as they did yesterday. Oftentimes, the longer you stay at the crease, somehow the runs manage to come around, but you need to be there at the crease. You can't get wickets if you're out and back in the hutch. And I think this is a message probably their coach has been telling them. And from what I hear, Divya GK might be their player coach as well. This was mentioned by some of the viewers on the YouTube comments yesterday. So I'm not sure whether that is actually true or whether they have a dedicated coach. Yanagida-san continues to bowl over here. She's got 2 left in this over. Another beautifully loopy flighted delivery. The batter is not taking any risk whatsoever with that. I'm fairly certain that the new batter who's on strike, that is Ishita Shukla. She's probably aware of her batting capabilities and doesn't want to overreach. That's a good short ball, almost sort of in a hittable arc. The batter not taking advantage of that. No runs taken. Singapore remain at 56 for 6 at the end of 14 overs. That brings Lasya Bombareddy onto strike. And it looks like Kurumi Ota will continue to bowl at the other end. So this will be her third over on the trot. And why not? When you're bowling that well, there's no reason why you should be taken off the attack after 2 overs. Bowlers normally like to be in good rhythm, and once they are in a good rhythm, they want to continue bowling and finish off a longish spell so that they can maximize their rewards. That's another good delivery. A little bit of a swing into the batter over there. Kept out by the batter along the carpet. That one was fielders converging on the leg side. And it's nice to see the Japanese players sort of knowing the role of good fielding over here. They're not leaving it to just one of their teammates to do the work. Everybody is trying to play their part over here. That's well fielded by Kurumi off her own bowling. And again, we see 4 fielders converging in, 2 from the offside, 2 from the leg side. Their body language says how pumped up they are, how much they want to be involved in this game. It's not often that you see a player coming from extra cover mid-off when the ball's hit towards mid-on. And Yanagida-san has got a good sort of fielding spread out there on the offside. She's got 3 pretty much at the circle, and extra cover seems to be a little bit more closer than the other 3. So she's trying to stop those singles through the offside over there. And to her credit, Kurumi Ota is bowling to that plan. She's not giving a lot of leg side deliveries. This one was hit on the leg side by the batter over there, but it wasn't because it was a bad ball. It was just a really decent piece of batting, maybe a slightly inside on the inside half of the bat. It was a straight delivery, though. In we go again. Good straight ball outside of off stump. Well played. Kurumi-san in for the last delivery of this over. Bustles in, bowls it dead straight again. It's as if those stumps have got a big target painted on them. That's the end of the over. Singapore finish at 57 for 6 after 15 overs. Kurumi Ota with 1 wicket for 6 runs at the end of 3 overs. I suspect she will come back later and finish her full quota of 4 overs. So of the 5 overs left, I think she'll bowl one. Ahilya Chandel will bowl one. We might see Elena bowl the other, so that's 3. And perhaps Yanagida-san and maybe Fujikawa-san might take the other one. We'll have to wait and see what decision the skipper makes. Current projected score is down to 76 from 84. And it just shows that the run rate has also been sort of declining. So not only have the Japanese bowlers pegged back the Singaporean innings with regular wickets, but they have also restricted the scoring quite admirably over here. Mai Yanagida continues. She is in her third over now. That one's hit to mid-wicket. The batsers take just a single. And I think this would be the more appropriate strategy for Singapore over here. Eschew as much risk as they can. Try to hit it either in the gaps or keep it along the ground. Possibly take the singles and maybe the odd double, depending on how well they're able to hit in the gaps and how shrewd a judge of run they are. That one beats the bat. Good ball by Mai Yanagida. And she comes, and that one's on target again. Just hurrying up the batter a little bit, who manages to keep that ball out, and she bats it towards the point region. No run on offer there, as there was a fielder to cut it off quite quickly. Oh, that's a bit of a grubber, and rightfully called no ball by the umpires. They recently were a change in the law a few years ago. Previously, the ball had to bounce more than twice to be called a no ball. Now the ball gets called a no ball after the second bounce. And as you see, there's a signal for the free hit, which the batter takes full advantage of, tries to hit it as hard as she can. Oh my God, there's a misunderstanding and there's a run out in the process. Both batters stranded at one end. Looks like lots of miscommunication. What an unfortunate way to get out of a free hit. That is the only way, well, one of the only ways you can get out of a free hit, the other being obstructing the field. And what a sad, sad state of affairs as the batter slips. That is indeed quite unfortunate for Singapore over there. I mean, Japan won't be uh, complaining about this. It was Ishita Shukla who lost her footing, and she has been run out for naught after 9 deliveries. I'm fairly certain she thought there was a double run over there, so she returned for a single. She was more than halfway up the pitch. Unfortunately, her batting partner was not paying attention to what Ishita was doing, and by the time she saw and signaled, it was too late. Ishita lost her footing over there, slipped, and wasn't able to get back on time. That's a tragic end to her innings, and this brings Singapore to 59 for 7. That is called wide. Quite rightly so. That ball was outside of those guidelines, the markers, the wide markers that we have on the pitch nowadays, especially in the shorter format. Ooh, that one was called a bit wide as well. I think that might have been just a little harsh, but obviously it's the umpire's call, and he's in a better position to give those balls out there. That one is likely to be wide again, as that one crosses the tram lines this time and has been called. So that's 3 wides in succession, preceded by a no ball, which is a little bit unfortunate as my Yanagida has bowled really well thus far. Oh, that's a much better ball. Kept out by the batter. No run on offer. And that brings us to the end of the 16th over. Singapore at 62 for 7. Current run rate is hovering at 3.88, which is not too bad. It's definitely better than what Singapore did manage yesterday. So they should be happy about an incremental progress that they have demonstrated over here. Of the 4 remaining overs, if they could perhaps score another 15 to 20 runs, I think Singapore would be happy with their effort, especially considering the disastrous start that they had at the beginning when they were 3 down for 3 runs. Elena comes back for her 4th over and to finish her spell. That's a good ball to start up. Oh, the scorecard tells me it's Shimako Kato. I thought that was Elena, my bad. I apologize for the error. So Kato-san comes back. This is her 3rd over. Starts off really well. Oh, that one lost its shape a little bit, just drifts outside of the leg stump behind the batter as it goes to the keeper. Rightly called a wide by umpire Burrs. And that adds another run to the Singaporean total. In comes Kato-san again. Batter manages to keep that out of the trajectory of the stumps, and that one is squirted towards the backward point region. No run over there. That one's hit with a little bit more intent. Wanted the single. Clearly no single over available over there as the fielder was onto that ball in a flash. There's definitely no room for any risk, and quite wisely the batters remained in their respective halves on each end of the pitch. Kato-san bowling really well over here. This one's likely to be another one. This one's hit a bit uppishly, fortunately for the batter, into the gap over there. And they complete 1 run as the fielder retrieves that ball and throws it back to the keeper. The Singaporean run rate steady at 3.8, and the runs coming along in a little bit of a steady trickle rather than in a flourish. Perhaps not a bad idea given the fact that they are 7 wickets down and they've only got 3 wickets left in hand with most of their capable batters already out. So, new batter on strike is Johanna Purankaran, and she has faced 2 deliveries so far, managed to keep them out. Her role probably will be to provide able support to Lasya Bommareddy over there. 3 overs left in this innings. So far, Japan have done a really wonderful job in restricting Singapore to this total that they have, and also making sure that they have got regular wickets. They have bowled well, they have bowled to a plan, and apart from those 4 consecutive extras by Yanagida-san, there haven't been that many bad deliveries out there. And now we see that Elena has returned. She is likely to bowl this over, and I suspect we might see Ahelia Chandel in the next one, or she might take the 20th. Nonetheless, a good decision to bring back Elena. A little change in the field happening over there. One of the fielders has been instructed to move from the offside to the leg. And comes Elena over here, bowls it straight. Batter hits it back. Elena fields it in her follow through. No run. And starts making her way back to her bowling mark. Given the change in regulations for the T20 internationals, the captains are urged to now speed the game up a little bit, because if they fall behind the over rate, they get penalized. That's a wide down leg side, rightly called by umpire Newman over there. Yeah, so I was saying now there are penalties for teams who are not able to adhere to the over rate restrictions, and the penalties in the form of extra runs, one less fielder outside the circle, which can be quite risky, and players can take advantage by hitting aerial shots, just like the one we see on our screen now. So Lasya hit that. It was a big swipe, a sort of a hoik across the ball, and it goes into the vacant land on square leg region. This brings Johanna back on strike now. Let's see what she's able to do in this over. That's a full length ball. She's missed it, and that has hit the stumps. Johanna loses her wicket without troubling the scorers over here. That was a lovely slower delivery on off stump by Elena. Brilliant, beautiful piece of bowling over there. Just rolls her fingers as she releases that ball, gives it a nice little loop and a big dip. The batter misses it comprehensively, not able to get to the length of the ball at all. The ball slides underneath her bat, hits that off stake, and Singapore lose yet another wicket. They are now 66 for 8, and we are in the 18th over. Charlotte Boyle is the new batter. She's on strike now. As comes Elena comes in. That's bowled just a little bit outside off stump. Charlotte manages to keep that along the ground. Charlotte's a very young player, just 16 years of age. Long career, hopefully, in the making with Singapore. Oh, well left outside off stump. She knows exactly where that wide marker is and let that ball go through, shouldering arms in the process. Wide called by umpire Newman over there. Elena might want to get that ball tucked in a little bit much closer to the stumps as she can. That's a much better delivery. That was on off stump. Well kept out by young Charlotte over there. Charlotte's primarily in this team for her bowling, but she is expected to do a little bit with the bat now in seeing off the last 2 overs of this innings. That's a well played stroke over there. Unfortunately for Charlotte, that goes straight to the fielder, and they were trying to attempt a cheeky little single, but sensibility prevailed, and her partner sent her scampering back. No run in the process. Singapore end the 18th over at 67 for 8. Elena finishes her spell of 4 overs with 1 for 18. A good bowling performance overall, especially given her return to the game after a long hiatus. As expected, we have Ahilya returning to finish her spell now. She has 3 for 6 of 3 overs, an absolutely wonderful spell of bowling opening this innings, and she comes in, delivers that ball, which is angled, aimed at the batter's legs, who manages to tuck that just behind square leg, and they take a single in the process. So Lasya is off the strike against Ahilya. I think sensible given the circumstances. Given a choice, would you be facing Ahilya or would you let your partner face Ahilya? Especially if you've got very limited batting capabilities. Let's see how. Oh, young Charlotte has hit that ball straight up in the air. A good effort by the fielder over there who dived, but unfortunately the ball just fell short of her reach. Brilliant effort nonetheless. I think that might be Yanagida-san in that position over there at mid-off. It was a really good diving effort, a really, really good diving effort. We would have had another wicket on our hands and another one against Ahilya's name, but it wasn't to be. Next ball up. Lasya bats that, plays it into the ground, and that's a dot ball. And she comes again. Lovely little leap into her bowling stride, and that one's hit over extra cover into the gap. There's they take a single. That brings Charlotte Boyle again to the strike. Singapore have now reached 70 runs in this innings. Oh, that's a beautiful delivery there by Ahilya. Beautiful delivery, angled across that batter. There was no way Charlotte was able to navigate that delivery. It was just too good for her. I wonder if Ahilya is likely to bring this one jagging back in. Oh, this one also angled across Charlotte, who sort of plays it very capably, keeps it away from her stumps, and sort of keeps it along the ground. Just wanted to mention that Ahilya is one of those rare left arm seamers who can actually take the ball away from a batter and bring it swinging back in, not just with swing but also with seam movement too. So she is a really good long-term prospect for the Japan team. Kurumi Ota is going to bowl the last over of this innings. Question is, can she add to her tally over here? She's adjusting the field. And it's good to see that she's taking the lead in adjusting the field because I suspect she has a plan of her own as to how she wants to bowl to these two. She has 1 for 6 of 3 overs so far. This is her final over, and the final over of Singapore innings. Oh, that one's just lost its shape. She's lost control of that ball, which has gone wide down the leg side. Very, very well fielded by the keeper over there, Akari Nishimura. That was a good diving stop. In comes Otasan again. That one's a much more straighter delivery on the stumps, well kept out by Lasya Bomareddy, who's batting on 8 of 21 deliveries so far. Make that 8 of 22. Another swing of the bat, doesn't make connection. The ball just sort of misses the inside edge as it dies down on its way to the keeper, who collects it on the second bounce. Kurumi Ota has bowled a very, very economical spell today. Not given away, well, less than 10 runs is not a bad start. That one's just tucked around the corner at square leg. Fielder comes in running, fields it quite well, returns it back, limiting the batters to just a single in the process. In comes Otasan again, bowls that one. Once again, a very good delivery, keeps it tight, doesn't give the batter much room at all. There's no way Charlotte was able to free her arms over there and sort of slash at that. She's played that very well, quite a percentage cricket shot, sort of respected that delivery and just kept it along the ground. Doesn't want to take unnecessary risks. Oh, that's bold. That's a full delivery, sort of a dipping one. By the time it got to Charlotte, that almost turned into Yorker length, and that has dislodged both the stumps. And that was bang on middle stump, actually. There we go. Let's watch the replay again. In she comes. There we go. That's just hit middle and off. Really, really good bowling by Kurumi Ota over here. Singapore now 9 down. And there is a chance for Japan to get Singapore all out over here, especially if they get this last wicket on this last delivery. So last delivery coming up, Kurumi Ota right at the top of her mark. We have got Ella Ungaman taking strike. She's trying to cover all those stumps as best as she can. Kurumi Ota-san comes in. Let's see what happens. And she's managed to make contact with that ball, which flies off the outside edge and makes its way to the third man boundary. So Singapore finish over here with a boundary. That is an exciting finish for them. Probably against the run of play a little bit. Probably not quite what Japan might have expected or wanted. Like a thickish outside edge flies right above the fielders and goes to the third man fence. Singapore finished the innings with 76 for 9, a significantly improved performance over their batting display yesterday. Kurumi Ota finishes her spell with 2 for 12 of 4 overs, a wonderful display of bowling. Here we see the batting scorecard. Roshni Ramesh top scoring for Singapore with 21 of 25, and handy contributions by Vinu Kumar, who scored 13 of 22, and then Shafina Mahesh 13 of 18, with Lasya Bomma Reddy holding the tail end of the innings by batting out for 24 deliveries and scoring 9 unbeaten runs in the process. Earlier, Ahilya Chandel had rocked that top order by getting 3 quick wickets in her opening spell. It was terrific display of good left arm seam and swing bowling by her. And we will come to the bowling figures in just a minute. There's the bowling card. Ahilya Chandel leads with 3 wickets for 9 runs. Followed by Kurumi Ota with 2 for 12, which could easily have been 2 for under 10 if it wasn't for that streaky outside edge that went for 4 of that last delivery. And ably supported by Elena, who got 1 for 18, Shimako Kato, who got 1 for 14, and Mai Yanagida, the skipper herself, who got 1 for 8. Kyo Fujikawa also bowled very well, but unfortunately she went wicketless and gave 15 runs in the process. Overall, a good display of bowling by the Japan side, who have managed to restrict Singapore to just 76 for 9 of their 20 overs. 13 extras in the process. Let's take a little break and come back after about 10-15 minutes for the resumption of the Japanese innings. Hello and welcome back to all of our listeners. We are getting close towards the beginning of the Japan innings. The interval between the innings is coming to an end, and while we are waiting for the umpires and the players to make their way to the ground, I would like to take a few moments over here to remind everyone of Japan Cricket on various social media platforms. The handle on Twitter is twitter.com/cricketjapan or x.com/cricketjapan. Cricket Japan is also on Facebook and Instagram. On Facebook, the handle is Cricket Japan, whereas on Instagram, it's Japan_cricket. And for all those viewers watching us on YouTube over here, I would like to sincerely request you to hit and click on the subscribe button and to turn your notifications on, especially if you're a fan of cricket and more so if you're a fan of Japanese cricket. We would love all our well wishers and all the viewers over here to help us in any which way they can to help grow the sport in Japan. And now, with cricket being an Olympic sport from 2028, we would like to get more participants in, and we would like to get bigger and much more larger following on social media. It every little bit that we all do as fans and as supporters goes a long way in spruiking up the image of cricket in any country, and especially as now broadcasts are gone digital and they are streamed worldwide. Little bit helps. We want that presence to be known around everywhere. So thank you to all of our viewers here on YouTube who are watching from various countries across the world, and for the supporters in this Indian subcontinent who watch these feeds via fan code. A huge thank you for all of you for your sustained and continued patronage. To bring you up to speed, Singapore won the toss today. They elected to bat and they have scored 76 for 9 wickets after 20 overs in their innings. Japan has been set a target of 77. In in yesterday's match, Japan scored 54 for the loss of 1 wicket in 9 overs. And let's see whether they are able to replicate that performance from yesterday or not. A couple of important announcements and mentions over here. So Kurumi Ota took her 46th wicket yesterday, which made her Japan women's highest ever wicket taker in the process, and she has added another wicket to that tally today. And Mai Yanagida, who is the current Japanese skipper, has made her 75th appearance today and has thus become Japan's most capped player ever, both across the men's side and the women's side. So, a hearty congratulations to both of them for achieving their respective milestones. And it is great news for Japan cricket that there are young, exciting players already in the team who are likely to overtake these two stalwarts in the years to come. Now, we are set and ready. The batters are at their mark. Umpire Burrs once again is at the bowler's end, so the bowler will be starting from his end. He's signaling to the scorers, making sure they are ready, they're paying attention. He's also communicated with his partner, who is umpire Newman, at square leg. Here comes the first ball of this innings. And there we go. Haruna Iwasaki takes strike, and Charlotte Boyle bowls the first ball, which has gone for a wide. Umpire Burrs duly calls it out, and an extra to begin the Japanese run chase. First runs on the board, not off the bat though. Haruna Iwasaki is joined by Erika Oda, who is another seasoned campaigner, and she's at the non-strikers end. Erika is a capable player in her own right. She has helped Japan win quite a few games off her bat, and she's a very valuable member of this team. And that was a second consecutive wide bowled by Charlotte over there. Perhaps a little bit of nerves showing on this young player. I mean, let's not forget that Charlotte is only 16 years old, and sometimes these big international occasions can get to you. That one's bowled a little bit closer towards the pads. Unfortunately, goes a little bit wide on the leg stump, and umpire Burrs called it wide again. Japan is 3 for no loss in the first over, and we are yet to have the first legal delivery bowled. The skipper comes to Charlotte's side, calms her nerves down, reassures her, just asks her to relax. That is good leadership over there, sort of supporting your young bowler over there and making sure that they are okay. Charlotte comes in again. Haruna Iwasaki reaches out and slashes that ball over cover region where it is ably stopped by the fielder in the deep as Iwasaki-san and Erika cross over for a single. The broadcast for today's game is brought to you by JCA and their various collaborators. A huge thanks to them. Charlotte comes in again. That's a much better delivery, straight onto the stumps. Beautiful, lovely ball. Well played by Erika in the process, and that has been kept out. So hits it back to the bowler who collects it and walks back to her mark. So a big thanks to JCA and their partners and sponsors for bringing us today's game. The game is played at Sano. That's a good straight drive by Erika Oda again, this time intercepted by the mid-on fielder who has come in as soon as that ball had hit the bat. So as I was mentioning, this game comes to us from Sano, which is about 80 kilometers northwest of Tokyo and is Japan's cricketing hub at the moment. The ground is beautiful. I have been there myself in person, and it's an absolute pleasure to watch cricket being played over there. Lovely ground, good pitch, good outfield. That one slashed through the point region and again intercepted by the deep sweeper over there. The batter scamper for another single. In the spring months, the ground at Sano is sort of lined by cherry blossom trees on the outer fringes, and it's an absolutely pretty sight to watch. That one's hit in the air, obviously outside the reach of the batter. This one runs towards the boundary, and that has been signaled a four by umpire Burrs. So Japan hit their first boundary in the first over itself. That's a full toss, which Haruna Iwasaki took full advantage of and absolutely cleared the infield. In comes Charlotte again. Bowled a bit straight. Iwasaki-san misses that shot, a little bit low bounce off the pitch this time. Not to say that the pitch has uneven bounce, it's just one of those odd deliveries that sometimes doesn't just bounce up as much as you expect. End of the first over, Japan 9 for no loss of the first one. As you can see there on your screens, we've got the mountain as the backdrop, and it's lined by some majestic trees over there. It's wonderful to watch a cricket over here at Sano. There's a good little tea shop, or I'd say it's a tea shop, where you can buy some food and snacks, and you can sit on the deck outside and get to enjoy the cricket. There's a little bit of a grandstand, which now is towards the point region from this camera angle. Apologies for the delay in commentary. Ella Ungerman is taking the new ball at the other end. She's bowling the second over, and her first delivery has gone for 2 runs. Very good run, brace of runs over there by Haruna Iwasaki and Erika Oda. That one was hit in the gap, and they completed a comfortable 2 runs. Ella comes in again. This one's a little bit more towards the stumps, sits a little bit squat low. Erika Oda using all her experience to manage to get hold of that ball, spats it across to mid wicket over there, where it's fielded very, very nicely by one of the Singaporean players who manages to keep that ball within play inside the boundary rope and ends up putting in a diving finish over there. Thankfully, there was another fielder backing her up over there who scooped it up and then threw it back at the bowler's end. Ella comes in again, high arm action over there, straight on target this time, bowls it at the wickets, and Erika plays that just towards square leg and wants to try to go for a run, but then decides against it, presumably because the ball probably went straight to the fielder over there. Ella comes in again. Erika waits for this delivery. And again, showing her experience over here, just waits for that ball to get to her before she just dabbles it behind square on the leg side and completes a quick single. This brings Haruna Iwasaki back on strike, and this will be the first time she is facing Ella Ungerman in this match. That's hit very well on the offside, straight above the infield. Comfortable single over there. Haruna Iwasaki showing her awareness of the field and the spread of the fielders at the moment and where the gaps are. In my opinion, Haruna Iwasaki is one of the better technical batters in this Japan side. Ooh, full toss above waist high. Well, you have to wait for the umpire's signal whether it's a no ball or not. That has been signaled a boundary. That was an absolutely beautiful pull shot over there by Erika Oda that went at a good pace off her bat and raced to the boundary. You got a couple of bounces and it just raced beyond the boundary over there. I'm not sure if the umpire signaled that. That's the end of the over, so that's 19 for no loss for Japan. Japan taking full advantage of the power play over here. As this is a T20 game, the power play lasts for 6 overs. And in this power play, only 2 fielders are permitted to be outside the inner circle. And as we have seen, aided by a little bit of a few loose deliveries by Singapore, the Japan batters have actually taken advantage of that. 19 for no loss after 2. Quite understandably, we have a change in bowling. Charlotte has been asked by her captain to sort of take a break. And this brings Ishita Shukla to the crease. She's bowling right arm over. This one's raised to the boundary as well. Very well played by Haruna Iwasaki over there. She's waited for that delivery and then just sort of slog swept it past backward square leg. There's a fielder over there, pretty much behind square on the leg side, inside the circle. All Haruna Iwasaki had to do was get it past that fielder, which she has done successfully. Albeit, I must say, the bowler's angle of delivery helped her cause a bit. In comes Ishita again. A lot more closer. This time the ball's on the offside, and Haruna Iwasaki drives it majestically just for a single. Fielder over there in a sort of a sweeper cover position, but didn't have to really move that much. Good ball by Ishita and very well played by Erika Oda. Knowing that that was straight on the stumps, she just decides to block it right in front of her. Japan players not taking too many risks over here, knowing that the runs will come. All they have to do is make sure they don't lose too many wickets, which is something they did admirably well yesterday in chasing down 53 in under 9 overs. That's another good delivery, sort of swinging a little bit late, trying to shape away but aimed at the legs. Erika does really well to block it out, plays it along the ground on the leg side. Haruna was a little bit keen on trying to get that single, but Erika's experience and judgment sent her back, declining the single, and quite justifiably so. An inside edge, big inside edge. Bowler was marginally interested in that for a while, but realized there was an inside edge to that. That's well played in front of square on the offside. Although the ball went straight to the fielder, these two have scampered a very quick single over here, taking advantage of that slightly deep positioning of the fielder in the covers. Japan now 25 of 3 overs, going at a very good run rate of 8.3 in their chase of 77. As mentioned earlier, please do give Japan Cricket a follow on X, or formerly Twitter, on Facebook, Instagram. Hopefully, you have subscribed to this channel on YouTube and you have clicked onto the notifications bell as well, so that you get notified for every time there is a game within Japanese cricket circles and is being broadcast by the Japan Cricket Association. That's what I do. That's how I know these games are on and I can watch them. I sometimes catch the highlights as well. And some of the matches that have been played have been absolutely fantastic. As you can see, Sano is a lovely place. The ground is beautiful. It makes for good viewing of cricket. And the quality of cricket played in Japan has improved year on year. We now have a new bowler, and that is Miss Purankai. First name Johanna Purankaran, sorry. Or Purankai. Well, the team sheet says Purankaran and the on-screen graphic says Puranakarai. Anyway, so we'll call her Johanna by her first name just to avoid any confusion. Now she has bowled 2 dot balls in this over. Handy off-spin bowler for Singapore over here. Erika trying to maximize her scoring over there of those 2 deliveries, trying to reach out onto the off stump and hit it in the gap over there. This time she sort of shuffled slightly across, wanting to tuck it to the leg side to create some sort of gap and get off strike. And this time she's managed to get it off the square. It's racing towards the boundary, brilliantly cut off by the fielder in the deep, who's fielding at the sweeper cover position over there, and fields it back and throws it back to the bowler. The batters scamper 2 runs in the meanwhile. This is really good running by the Japanese players. They know exactly where they can get the maximum opportunity to score runs over here. They know what the field placing is like, and I think they trust their instincts. This time she gets down low in trying to get a little bit of elevation, but does not manage to do so. Another dot ball over here. Good bowling by Johanna Sofa. And this time Erika manages to get it behind square on that leg side, a shot she has tried about twice or 3 times so far. She gets that single and will retain strike as that is over. Japan are now 28 for no loss after 4 overs. Another 2 overs remain in this power play. Japan now needs 49 runs from 96 deliveries with a required run rate of 3.6. In comes Ishita Shukla. Oh, beautiful delivery. Beautiful shot over there by Erika. That has gone through extra cover for another boundary. Japan really pushing hard that accelerator. That's a wonderful shot. Wonderful bit of timing. Wonderful piece of placing. The fielder over there mistimed her attempt in getting to the ball and didn't realize where it was going. Probably overcommitted herself in that process, and the ball just races past her. Beautiful bit of batting over here by Erika. Japan really punishing these loose deliveries by Singapore. That's a full toss. Definitely that should be called a no ball. And this one has been pulled majestically on the leg side behind square by Erika San. And we see umpire Burrs signaling a no ball over there. That was quite high. The earlier one she got away with, but this one was definitely around shoulder height and very, very well played. She went back early on that shot. She swiveled nicely, managed to keep that ball along the ground, rotated her wrist as she made contact with that delivery. A wonderfully played shot for 4. Japan are absolutely racing over here. Their run rates now climbed up to almost 8.9, 37 after 4 overs. Ishida comes in again. Oh, bit of a misfield over there. A try, a little bit of a attempt to get a cheeky single, but did not go through. Um, Mind you, that was the ball after the no ball, so that would have been a free hit. And I think it was a good follow up by Ishita Shukla over there to keep it as tight as she did. Didn't allow Erika to free her arms at all. This one has been handsomely pulled over cow corner, and that goes for another boundary. Erika just stood in a crease, waited for that ball, saw the short ball, adjusted her timing, and just pulled it majestically in that vacant area towards the deep mid wicket region. Singapore don't seem to have any answers to the Japanese batting at the moment. That one has been played well by Erika again, this time sort of swiveling on her spot and towards backward square leg. They take a single. She is now at the non-strikers end, and that brings Haruna Iwasaki to the crease, who has faced only 6 deliveries so far, but has managed to score 11 runs off them. Erika San, on the other hand, has managed to score 27 of 23. Haruna shapes up for a big hoik over mid wicket, adjusts at the last moment, keeps that ball along the ground, and just manages a single off that delivery. Unsurprisingly, Erika Oda is also the leading run scorer for Japanese women in T20 internationals. She has crossed 500 runs as we speak. Oh my God, that is a drop. That is a drop. That was a little lapse by Erika. That ball went straight off to mid off. It was an absolute dolly of a catch, and the fielder has dropped that. What a costly mistake this might be for Singapore. That ball just sat up, went nowhere. It was an absolutely easy catch that was just dropped over there. So, as I was talking earlier, Erika Oda has now crossed 500 runs and still remains Japan's top run scorer across T20 internationals for women. And she is followed relatively closely by Mai Yanagida and then Ahilya Chandel in the number 3 spot. So, when we look at Ahilya's bowling exploits, along with her batting exploits, she is such an instrumental player for Japan with her all round skills, talent, and ability. And when you consider the fact that she's only 21 years old, it just goes to show what fantastic long term prospect she is for the Japanese team. And I suspect that over the next few years, we might even see her participating in a few franchise leagues as she develops her game. Good, my good wishes to her. Right, we have Johanna continuing her spell over here. First ball goes for a single and a dot on the second delivery. Haruna Iwasaki is facing her. That one slapped back past the bowler. No run in the process. Singaporean fielders converging on that ball. Quite aggressively, I must say. They're not wanting to give any free runs over here, which is a good sign for them. And that one's hit straight into the air and back over the bowler's head for a single. A pretty economical over here for Johanna. That single brings Erika back on strike. And this time she takes advantage of that gap over extra cover, hits it beautifully, places it so well, and scores a boundary in the process. Erika Oda is on fire over here. She's now scored 33 of 26 and taken a heavy toll of the Singaporean bowling. And she has moved into position very quickly over there, reached up to the offside, and smashed that ball into the gap for another boundary. Now, it has been brought to my attention that although Japan women's T20 internationals have been rather few and far between, they have played a lot of non recognized T20 games. And Emma Kuribayashi has more than 1,000 runs across all formats. As far as Cricinfo's stats go, which are only limited to ICC sanctioned or approved T20 international matches, Erika Oda still remains the highest run scorer in the T20 format for Japan. So just a little clarification over there, and a huge thank you to our tipster. We are into a new over here, and this is being bowled by Divya GK. A dot ball to start her over so far. We have finished the power play over, so now 4 fielders are allowed outside the circle. That's a lovely little ball by Divya. Harun Hassan attempted to have a go at that outside off, slashed at it, but just couldn't make a connection. The ball evades the outer edge and lands safely into the keeper's gloves. Divya back for her third delivery. This one has been taken hold of by Haruna Iwasaki, and that one goes towards mid-wicket. And it has been caught. Haruna is out, caught. Against the run of play, Japan have lost a wicket. They've got 50 runs on the board and have just lost their first wicket. They still need another 27 runs to win this game. Just as in their pursuit of victory yesterday, they lost 1 wicket. That time it was Hinase Goto. This time it is Haruna Iwasaki. So a little bit of a rejig of the batting order today. Haruna Iwasaki was slated for the middle order yesterday, but has been promoted to open the innings, which I think has been a good move for this Japanese team over here, as she can be a very attacking batter. I have watched her play in the J-Bash and a couple of other games, and she can score at a faster click. Mai Yanagida, the skipper herself, comes into bat now. As we mentioned earlier, this is her 75th game and is a personal record for her as well as Japan cricket, as this makes her the most capped player across the men's and women's format. So many congratulations to her. These are now the 2 senior Japan players at the crease in Mai Yanagida and Erika Oda. In comes Divya. Mai Yanagida to face this delivery. A loopy sort of a flighted ball, played very well by Mai, into the offside, that gap over there, and the fielder retrieves it and throws it, which allows the batters enough time to complete 2 runs. Very well run over there, and I think the Singapore captain might look at plugging that gap over there and put an extra fielder closer to the boundary on the offside. Sort of a deft cut played by Mai on this delivery this time. Ball kept a little bit low and she adjusted to that change. Keeps it along the ground. No run. In comes Divya again. Ball straight. Another flighted delivery outside off. Again played into the gap very nicely by Mai. Fielder cuts it off before it gets to that extra cover boundary. And once again, they take 2 runs. Mai looked like she was ready for a third, but justly stops short in her tracks. At the end of the 7 overs, we now have Japan 54 for 1. we have a change in bowling over here. The new bowler is Vinu Kumar. She'll be bowling from the far end. In she comes, delivers that ball, and that has been played well by Erica on the offside. Oh, a bit of a misfield over there, but luckily managed to keep it back in within the ropes just as it was slowly trickling away to that boundary rope. Good effort by the fielder. Could have cut it off, but obviously there was a bit of a misfield and then managed to sort of minimize the damage over there. 2 runs taken by Erica and Mai in the process. Wide ball down the leg side. In comes Vinu again, delivers that slightly on the leg side, heavily punished by Oda, pulled behind square, and that is just making its way to the boundary. But oh, well stopped there by who looked like Ella. Now it's a bit difficult. The umpire is still checking whether that reached the boundary or not. Now, since we don't have the pleasure of a third umpire over here, there's no way to check whether the fielder had touched the rope while dragging that ball in. So 3 runs in the process. Japan have now reached 60 for 1 of 7.2 overs. Healthy run rate of 8.18. In comes Vinu again. Delivers the ball a little bit straighter this time. Played once again in the gap by Mai Yanagi. That this one makes its way towards the backward square region as well. Same fielder who did the work earlier comes in, picks the ball up cleanly this time. And this time it's thrown back to the keeper. Batter scored a couple of runs in the process. Japan going quite steadily at this point. Not a lot of risk taken by these two. Obviously, Erika-san benefiting from that dropped catch earlier in the innings. Hopefully capitalizing it. She is 12 runs away from a 50, and Japan are 14 runs away from a victory. Question is, will Erika get her 50 and Japan gets the victory at the same time, or will she be sort of unsuccessful in her pursuit of that half century? There we go. That's hit again by Erika this time. And this one is racing definitely towards the boundary. Will beat the fielder there. Crosses the rope. And that is 4. So wonderful pull shot. Stayed a little bit low. Erika adjusted according to that and sort of kept it along the ground itself. Didn't try to overhit it, and thus ensuring that at the point of contact her timing and placing was spot on. She is now 42 of 29 deliveries. Plays a square cut on the offside. Takes a single. Retains strike in the process. Smart batting over here. Japan now 68 for 1, 9 runs away from victory. Erika will be on strike at the beginning of this over. Vinu Kumar's over was pretty expensive, 14 runs of that first over of hers. The bowling performance of the Singapore players shows their relative inexperience, not just in trying to keep run scoring to a minimum, but also the lack of penetration and wicket taking ability over here. Divya returns to the crease. She'll be bowling from the clubhouse end. Oh, that one spun back in a little bit. Bottom edge by Erica was lucky not to have chopped it onto her stumps. Much better shot by Erica this time. Took full toll of that full length ball and hit it in the gap high and mighty towards deep mid wicket, and that one goes two bounces over the fence for another boundary. Erica is now at 47 of 32 deliveries. That's a good shot, absolutely good shot. Dragged it from outside of off stump and hits it into that vacant deep mid wicket region over there. Beautiful piece of awareness of the placement. Knew where the fielder was and just hit in the gap. This time she's played it square on the offside as she bisects those fielders in the point region and scampers for a single. Interesting juncture in this over with 3 balls left to go and about 4 runs to win. Let's see what Mai does in the process. Ooh, she keeps that one out. A little bit of a turn over there by Divya. Good line this time, good length. Mai does really well to sort of block that out and keeps it out. Doesn't seem to be in any rush to take another single. I think she might be comfortable just batting this over out and allowing her batting partner the honors of scoring the 50 and also probably the winning runs for Japan in the next over. 2 more balls left to come. Mai plays it sensibly again, just keeps it down, lets it go past through to gully. No run. Divya gets back to the top of her mark and is ready. Mai gets into position once again. Last ball of this over, which is the 9th over. And just well left. Let's just let it go straight to the keeper. End of the over. Japan are now 73 for 1 of 9 overs. Just as a reminder, in yesterday's game, they had finished the game by this time. They had scored 54 in 8.1 overs, I think it was. 8.5 overs. So yeah, so they finished the game just before the completion of the 9th over. So now we are into the 10th over. Hopefully, this should be the final over of this innings, barring any unexpected developments. It looks like we will have a new bowler. It's Johanna back into the attack. She bowls a flighted delivery on off stump, and Erika Oda has smashed that for a boundary. And this is it, folks. This is not only Erika's 50, but Japan have reached their target of 77, which they did comfortably for the loss of just 1 wicket and for only 9 overs. This has been a wonderful batting performance by Japan. They have won this game by a big margin, 9 wickets, and with almost 11 overs to spare. They have won now 2 games on the trot. Tomorrow is a break. The next match will be on Friday, and that game is likely to be in the morning. So here we go. This is the scorecard. Haruna Iwasaki scored 13 of 14 deliveries. Erika Oda has scored 52 of 34, and her batting partner, who was Mai Yanagida, has scored 7 of 8 deliveries, which unfortunately is not there on screen for some. Oh, there we go. It's right at the bottom. Mai Yanagida, 7 of 8. A wonderful victory by Japan in the end. Over here, they now lead this bilateral five-game series 2-0. There's the bowling figures. The sole successful bowler with Divya with the solitary wicket, who has bowled well, 1 for 9 of her 2 overs. Charlotte and Ella have been a little bit expensive, as has been Vinu Kumar. But Singapore will take heart in the knowledge that they have improved upon their batting performance in this game compared to the first match, and will be hoping that they perform a little bit better than this when it comes to the third match, which is on Friday. Now, for people who have talked about the rankings system, Singapore is, yes, 2 places above Japan in the ICC Global Women's T20 international rankings. But let's not the rankings fool us, because this Japan team is improving by leaps and bounds with every series they play and every year that goes by. They have got some really talented players in their ranks. They've got seasoned campaigners like Erika Oda and Mai Yanagida, and they've got exciting players like Ahilya Chandel, Elena, and Harune Iwasaki amongst their numbers too. And they have got a reliable keeper in Akari Nishimura, who's also quite handy with the bat. And they've got a few other talented players like Hinase Goto. Thank you everybody for tuning in and for supporting both the teams today. Japan has prevailed. Let's see what Singapore brings to the table in a couple of days' time. If you haven't done so already, please follow Japan Cricket on various social media platforms. That's on X, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. If you haven't subscribed already to the YouTube feed, please do so. Click that notifications bell as well so you get informed of when the next live match streaming is, and you stay updated with the games. And this is not just for the Japan international games, but also for the domestic games that are played in Japan, such as the JPL, the JCL, the Futures League, and various other tournaments that take place. Japan's got a really budding cricket culture at the moment. It is rapidly growing. There are more than 34 clubs in the JCL at the moment. There's also the Japan Cup, which obviously has more teams participating in it. There's the men's competition, there's the women's competition, which is also growing. Both of them have got aged groups, under 19 and an under 15 league. There's the J Bash for the women's as well. Japan's women's Premier League is in place as well, where a few international players come and play for the teams too, and that makes the game more exciting for a lot of women players and followers of the games. It's really good. Japan's now part of the ACC as well, so they are likely to take part in the Challenger Cup, which then leads into the Premier Cup and then Asia Cup after that. I would say a good a round of acknowledgement to their partners, the main partners, MKI and Mizuno, and to all the people who do a lot of hard work behind the scenes, such as the administrators, the coaches, the groundskeepers, the umpires, scorers, and everybody else involved with the sport in bringing us these live images from the ground at Sana. This really pictures ground, as you can see. And I think all of us can try to do what we can in our own little ways to support JCA and cricket all over the globe as much as we can. It has been an absolute pleasure to bring to you the game over here. Japan leads this bilateral five-match series 2-0. And we shall see you again in a couple of days' time on Friday for the third match of the series. Good day, good evening to wherever you may be in the world. Have a nice one. Thank you for tuning in. This is Sagir Parker, your commentator for today. Thank you very much.